Welcome, Strategy Battle Gamers, to another GBHL YouTube video. You're here with your host, GBHL Damian.
And GBHL Tom.
And welcome to episode 63 of The Palantir. Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. And we are here with a special Palantir.
Special Palantir.
Which will hopefully excite a lot of people and probably disappoint a few regular watchers.
Yes. So, yeah, a quick note to all. We're kind of dialing down the silliness this week, just because we expect we may get some kind of viewers from elsewhere pulled in via YouTube to this one video, and if they had to sit through 10-15 minutes of us waffling at the start, which our regular viewers, most of them we hope like, it may not they may not get to the news bit.
Exactly. So I think this is for any new viewers that are here that have come in about the news of the future SBG. Welcome to the channel. This is the Palantir that me and Tom try and do every week.
It's called the Grown Up Show, but it's not.
Is it called the Grown Up Show?
Well,
I've never heard of it.
Relative to the speak friend in question.
But yeah, there's normally things like trivia and all sorts of silliness that goes on, but we're going to try and dial that down a bit.
Yes.
And don't fear not, though, if you enjoy this show, it will return properly next week.
Yes, so as a quick point, last week we talked about The Return of the King, how great it is.
That's 2 weeks ago.
That's 2 weeks ago, yeah. And obviously a lot of you gave comments, but we're not going to spend 20 minutes discussing all of those comments now. What we're going to do is revisit those when we come back to review the Hobbit films one by one. So don't worry, we'll get back to your comments.
We have them in the tank.
Yes. But you did want to raise one little thing about the films.
Oh, the films, indeed. Yes, you're absolutely right. So, those of you who've been watching the Palantir will know this. Anyone who doesn't know will know that in the last 3 editions of the Palantir, we talked about the Lord of the Rings films.
Yes.
And we talked about our favourite Lord of the Rings films, our favourite models, and just kind of retrospectively revisited those films.
And for those who didn't know, we both went for the Fellowship of the Ring.
Being the favourite.
Yes.
Yes. And we asked people to put, people were putting their own memories about each one of those films in the comments and stuff, but they weren't really ranking them. But completely coincidentally, really, just before the Throne of Skulls weekend, which we'll obviously touch upon a bit in this video, it was amazing, in short, Thomas Macklin came over to my house.
Other Tom, not me.
Yeah, different Tom. Other Toms are available, and much better. And he came over on Thursday night, and obviously we were like, "What?" I think we said, "Do you want to play a game, or do you want to get a curry and watch a Lord of the Rings film?" Well, Lord of the Rings film. And we said, "But which one?" And we said, "We'll put it to the community." So we put a poll up. A lot of you will have voted on this, because a quick glance, there are somewhere in the region of 100 votes, I think. And we basically polled it to the community and say, whichever one you vote for, we'll watch. Now, bearing in mind that we didn't ask what is your favourite Lord of the Rings film, but I think it's fair to say this might well reflect the favourite Lord of the Rings films, or Middle Earth films, I should say, all 6, of the community. So, Tom,
topical.
My challenge to you, these are not Hobbit or Lord of the Rings, these are Middle Earth films as a... Well, that's exciting. Tom, the community.
Yes.
What is the most popular Middle Earth film?
You wanted me to guess?
Yes.
I would guess at it being between The Fellowship, The Return of the King, or potentially, I don't know which Hobbit people would like over all. Maybe some people like Battle of the Five Armies just for the emotion of
Got to push you for your first choice.
I'm going to go Fellowship.
Fellowship came in second. Behind?
I'd then say Return of the King.
Return of the King came in 4th.
Ooh. So it'd have to be... I think Lord of the Rings will win out, so it's got to be Two Towers.
It is Two Towers. I thank you for playing along. Did you know that me and Tom watched the Two Towers on Thursday night? I've been posting screenshots of it. I thought that might have given it away.
What gave it away was when we sat down to have dinner.
And the Two Towers was in the DVD player, yeah. But well played. So yeah, Two Towers was first.
Yeah, but I was doing my true guesses. If I would.
Very decent of it. Then Fellowship.
Yes.
As we know. And Return of the King was 4th. So what's 3rd? A Hobbit has snuck in there.
Yeah. Maybe Battle of Five Armies?
It is Battle of Five Armies. In 3rd position. Although it's actually joint, I must be honest. Okay. It's joint with Return of the King. With 41 votes, Two Towers. With 29 votes, Fellowship. And then with 16 votes each. Okay. So quite a drop down. Yeah. Battle of Five Armies and Return of the King. Now, I'm also going to tell you the honest answer about these. You need to take 3 off all of them, because the Cult of Double Dragon, Jamie Giblin and James Braun, voted for all 6. I don't think they were trying to. They were saying watch all 6.
Yeah.
As did Matt King.
Okay.
So you actually take 3 off all of them, and then what do you think's in 5th?
Unexpected journey.
It is with 2 votes.
2.
If you take off the 3,
Yeah.
so at the highest you're at 35,
Wow.
and yeah, with 2 votes, unexpected journey.
Wow.
And at the bottom, 1 vote for Desolation of Smaug.
Wow.
Now, I'm not surprised to see Desolation of Smaug
Yeah.
in last, perhaps, but Unexpected Journey, I don't know, maybe it should be 5th. I don't think it should be 5th, but 2 votes?
Yeah. Well,
Madness.
madness.
But it was the Two Towers, which was really good, because that's the one I actually wanted to watch.
Yeah.
And Two Towers and Fellowship were neck and neck for a while, but the Two Towers took over. So there we go.
There you
go. By our entirely scientific and infallible method, the Two Towers is the most popular Middle Earth film out there.
Yeah. Now, one more thing before the news. We are going to do one tradition that we do on the channel, on the Palantir show, and that is a tea toast. So, who are we giving the tea toast to this week?
Oh, well, we're pausing the existing tea toast.
We are, just so don't get worried if it was your
So
turn.
we'll get passed on. And we think we have to raise a cup. It's only right.
Mm-hmm.
To Team Middle Earth.
Team Middle Earth. So that's to you, Adam.
Jay.
Jay.
You say Jay as well, yeah?
Yeah, give him a double nod. Keith.
Gav.
Keith, Gav, and Rob.
Yeah, so the Middle Earth team for everything on Saturday. And everything that you're doing that we're bound to be about to talk about.
Crazily excited about.
You obviously, you guys, don't comment and all that, but I don't know if you watch, who knows. But if you're out there, don't feel like you have to pass it on. But here's to you.
Yeah.
Tea. And we've also got, in a small mug review, our fantastic new GBHL mug.
Courtesy of
Mr. Jamie Giblin. What a legend.
Yeah.
Jamie Giblin, if you're new to the show, is one of our other hosts. He's on Speak Friendly Question every week, and he also does hobby vlogs and Middle Earth's Deadliest Warbands and cool series like that.
Yes.
And he very kindly gave us pass these on at the weekend, and they are very nice.
They're very nice.
Congratulations to Jamie on his new job as well.
Yep.
Very exciting to see him start his full-time career at Steamforged.
At Steamforged, yeah. And with Jake Finnegan as well.
Indeed. But he's not a host, so we don't really care about him.
No. One more toast before we crack on with the news, and that is to...
We haven't got any champers, have we?
No.
It's another tea toast, but...
But it is, and it's going back to a theme we've only done once before.
It is, yeah. Ryan Ratchford's writing the second note down.
But yes, we would like to say a huge congratulations to Matt Davies and his fiancée, Joy.
Congratulations, guys.
Congratulations, guys.
If you're new, they just got engaged.
Yeah.
That could just be like they were already engaged.
Yeah.
But yeah, they have just got engaged. Congratulations. Joy said yes. We don't know why. Makes no sense to us. But massive congratulations to you guys. And Matt, lovely ring-row sculpting man, who we're huge fans of, and you'll see his fantastic. He's an incredibly talented hobbyist. You'll see his fantastic work in a fabulous publication that's being released in a couple of weeks.
Yes.
But massive congratulations, guys. Enjoy it. It's a very exciting time. Have an engagement party. People get you stuff. You might not expect it, but people get you loads and loads of stuff at an engagement party. You just miss out if you don't have it.
Very good.
Top tip. Top capitalist tip.
All right, that's it. Which, for those who have hung on this far, that's restrained.
That's a short intro.
That is restrained for us. It's usually about 45 minutes before we actually talk about what we're meant to talk about. So, we're back. What have we got to talk about? Did anything happen recently?
This week?
Yeah.
Oh, the news from the weekend. Yeah, with Jamie in the toilet.
Well, didn't James Long
bought a Smaug whilst drunk. These are great stories coming out of Throwing Skulls.
That is a great tactic for Games Workshop. Rather than have the Smaug in the shop, just put them all in Bugman's.
Have pub next to expensive shop.
Yeah.
He came out, I bumped into it, and he came out laughing hysterically, saying, I've just bought Smaug, like they told me to. Brilliant.
No, we're talking about Throne of Skulls weekend, of course, biggest event, since the old Grand Tournament, so biggest event of the new era, I guess.
It's the biggest Warhammer World event since they reopened.
Yeah,
of any system. It's the most,
So that is news in itself.
Congratulations to Nick Baton, and you can have a tea toast, right, there you go, if you watch. And Sam, obviously, Nick organised that thing, but Sam was running it. Simon Grant was there one day. Amazing event, absolutely brilliant. We're going to talk more about that, I think, next week.
Fantastic pub quiz.
Yeah, great
Probably
pub
I
quiz.
think their best one so far.
Well, the last 4 have all been good.
Yeah, but very well done, Nick. Congratulations.
Yeah, it was an awesome event.
Doubles is coming. That is a bit of news we should say. Doubles is coming September 17th,
17th, 18th, I think.
Get on that. You could if you knew your dates in advance, buy them at the event. Sadly, we couldn't commit that far in advance without telling.
Are we doing it? Are we doubling up?
Probably,
Yeah.
but we couldn't commit without talking to Emma and Lily first about it. I mean, it should be fine. It's just whether we've got other things, basically.
But that's great. So to have another Warhammer World, Lord of the Rings,
Yeah.
Hobbit campaign weekend to look forward to.
From
That'd be
our
brilliant.
perspective, I think every 6 months is a nice kind of.
Yeah,
It
for
makes
Warhammer
it
World.
special.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, well done on announcing that. But yeah, the big news is not that. The big news is, as I think a lot of the other YouTube channels were talking about pre the tournament, was that Adam Troke, who is heading up the Middle Earth product team, was giving a presentation on the Saturday night to 100 very, 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 very excited wargamers.
Absolutely.
And we sat there. We were
so
in the privileged
We're not.
100.
It's very tricky to say this sort of thing without sounding like, not tooting our own horn, but like showing off. But
Yeah.
as far as I know, at the moment, it's been great how the information's leaked out, and I've watched the Andreas's videos, and I've watched the DCHL video, and I've watched the Copenhagen video. But as far as I know, if you're watching this on Friday, we'll be the first, I don't know, YouTube video or large subscriber base, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, to offer an opinion from people who were there.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
And if we're wrong about that, I'm sorry.
Yeah. And big well done to Andreas for getting on Beast of War.
Yeah, well, yeah, massive congratulations to our Norwegian Viking,
Yeah.
who's coming over to the Zest Station Stockport.
Yeah.
Get your tickets for that.
I'm on to my second cup of tea now.
Already?
For those who don't know, we have 2 teas.
It's the only way to get through. So yeah, that. So other stuff has obviously come out, but our hope is that we can offer some insight.
Yep.
You're probably going to be disappointed.
Yeah. And also.
Not with the news. With what we say.
And also, I mean, yes, we had it first hand, but that doesn't mean we could still mix something up.
I am absolutely 100% certain about one thing, and I'm going to say that I'm 99% certain about that.
Okay.
Because we were there.
Yeah.
It's all done from our memory. We don't have some printed out copy of everything that was said. We could be wrong about this, and if we give out some wrong information or we inferred something wrong, then we are sorry. We normally do the caveat, and this is probably the most important week we ever do it. But everything in this show is our opinions, of me and Tom's, mine and Tom's opinions. Do not represent the views of the GBHL podcast or the Great British Hobbit League, or certainly not Games Workshop.
Certainly not.
There's the company. There's the company for this one. If we get anything wrong, we're sorry, but we will do our best.
Yeah. I think the overriding thing we should say to start with is we can't swear on the channel, but it's blooming fantastic.
Chuffing fantastic. It is. Indeed.
So yes, where should we start? Should we?
On the reaction, I think is important.
Okay.
Like, for one thing, that I think people have taken some things the wrong way.
Yeah.
That there was an event. Mm-hmm. This was not something we paid to find out this information. No. There was an event, a tournament run by Games Workshop, and at this afterwards, because it got so popular, I think Adam offered to do a talk. Yeah. I think it wasn't part of the talk.
And it was an open talk. If you looked at in the shop, they had a presentation with Adam Troke. You didn't have to be at the event to go. It said anyone is welcome to go into Warhammer World and go and see that talk.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was on as a bonus for part of the event, and he certainly didn't have to do it. But it was kind of, I've got 100 giant Hobbit nerds here. It would be cool to talk about some stuff.
It would be cool. I'm
going to go out there and say straight off the bat, me and Tom had zero intention whatsoever of ever making a video about it at the weekend. It was always going to be the Palantir for this week, so we certainly didn't. I don't know, we didn't give any indication that we were going to do that.
Yeah.
And I can understand the frustrations of some people, like saying, when's the information coming out, and all that sort of stuff. But if I'm brutally honest on the timeline, from my point of view, he talked, everyone listened, and then there was about a 3-minute gap before the pub quiz. Yeah. At which point everyone went, "Oh my god, to each other." Then we had the pub quiz. Then we were basically signing autographs as the winning pub quiz team for about 3 days after that. But not just us, of course. Also Owen, Nick, Laura, and to Adam. How'd I do that?
Don't forget Adam.
But there is no there is no kind of us and you or us and them or anything like that. That if people, I can understand you wanting to know the news, but I don't know. There was no sense that it was obviously going to leak out, but no one was planning on doing a kind of press release to get it out there.
Because I mean, Games Workshop were never going to release a press thing. But again, another thing to remember is we're just normal people who are at the event. We're nothing special, and we just wanted to have a nice time on the evening of the tournament.
Yeah.
And if by that we didn't write an essay to everybody, that's more just because we were with friends. And if you're out with friends, you don't sit on your phone and write an essay. You're with your friends. So we put up. I just put up a post. I put up a post.
You put up the post that people have been talking about,
which was just, here are the high level points. This should be enough to get everyone by. There'll be questions on specifics, but this is enough to be going with.
Yeah, and I've seen some posts that say something about, like, in advance of this kind of, I don't want to. I'm sick of hearing internet hearsay. I want the truth. Guess what this is going to be? Internet hearsay.
Yeah.
That's all this is. It's just coming from a different source. This isn't the truth. This isn't like, I'll say what I can remember, but that's all it is. So we will try and pass this information on to you, but no one, before you get your hopes up, no one is hanging on to a giant, super secret release list of awesomeness.
No. And what I posted, that, I don't know, it was like 10 bullets. Here are the main things. That's the main things. That we're not going to talk about anything other than those things, really.
And I think the confidentiality thing was that right at the start, I think for any number of reasons, but most importantly, they said there was no filming because you're not allowed to film in Warhammer World. That was something that I know people were talking about in advance. Like, they didn't ban filming for this event, but you just can't film in Warhammer World. So that's part of the rules anyway.
I think some people may have filmed bits
and
for
then
journey vlogs, and I think for journey vlogs people may get away with it.
And Adam very politely said at the start, "I'd appreciate if you don't film this. Like, if you don't film it, I don't have to be as cautious about what I say."
And I think the main reason for that is the Warner Brothers link. If it gets out, he's maybe being flippant about how he phrases certain things. A lawyer from Warner Brothers would be like, you need to say this specific thing.
Yeah. So because of that, that then, I guess, implied to some people in the room that it was confidential, and then those people wanting to respect Games Workshop's wishes would then have been naturally a bit cautious about saying, okay, well, I'm going to tell you everything that happened.
And there was one confidential bit, and we can tell you exactly what it was.
What was it? Oh, the picture.
Because we can't show you it.
Yeah, I suppose, So, that's, hopefully that, before we get into the juicy stuff, that goes by some way of explanation, certainly from our point of view, why we weren't making videos and posting them or anything like that.
Yeah. Another thing is just, I don't know, we find it hard enough to meet up every week just to get this show out. I mean, we are generally quite busy people, just in general, people are. But then also, we're getting the magazine finished, as I'm sure we'll touch on at some point, but that takes up an awful lot of our time. And, the thought of... And we don't live together. We live miles away, actually. Like, if you were to drive, it's 2 hours between us. So it's... And we weren't going back together on the night in the car from Warhammer World, so there's literally... no time whatsoever for us to get together and film anything.
So hopefully that gives you some idea about potentially why people might not have been utterly forthcoming with the information.
Yes.
That said, what we will now try and do is
be forthcoming.
Be entirely forthcoming and tell you everything we know about the super exciting news.
Alright. Should we start at the beginning?
It's a great place to start.
Good. We had a slide. Adam did a presentation with slides. And the first slide was very cool. Why was it very cool, Damian?
I can't remember what it said Middle Earth.
It said Middle Earth.
Yes, good, strong.
Middle Earth strategy battle game.
Middle Earth strategy battle game.
With underneath the Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings.
It's the M and the H. Are bigger, allowing a line of Middle Earth, and then underneath that you get the Lord of the Rings, the Hobbit. Is that the final logo? I don't know. I couldn't say. Certainly not for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Before we, all right. I don't know. Maybe it's something that Jay did with a pencil.
Yeah.
But it looked very pretty.
It's cool.
Middle Earth strategy battle game.
And the reason that sounds great is because it feels like at some point we will get, like the big blue rule book of the old days, a one rule book to rule them all.
Yeah.
Again.
Maybe.
It's not been. Adam didn't spell that out, but
No.
I think he said that would be when I think people may have asked him in the Q&A. So there was a Q&A at the end. I think that he said that they would look to do a revised rule update of the whole thing. And I think the key point to make is that the great thing is that let's just say now it's all strategy battle game, no War of the Ring. All strategy battle game.
That
it's the
in
same
itself is huge because that answers the question. It is the same game.
Yeah, because the
same model, same scale.
The one thing I said that was maybe a bit misleading, I said same game, bigger scope. And I'll come on to what bigger scope means.
You did that.
Yeah, I didn't even mean that. That was
there's
completely unintentional.
There's people on the other side of the world. Yeah, this is amazing. It's going to be like War of the Ring. Oh, God, that's not what Tom's talking about.
So I'll explain the bigger scope comment. But yes. Middle Earth strategy battle game. So yeah, if the
it's not going to be a series of board games. Now that's not to say there wouldn't be this board game idea, but the primary, what I took from it, the primary driving design influence or whatever you want to call it, is that it is the game that we know and love continuing.
Yeah,
that's 95% sure. I think.
Yeah, and I think that, but so Adam, for those who don't know, wrote the rules at the Unexpected Journey time.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously he quite likes his rules and they are excellent.
I
think that if he was to do a big new rule book which encompassed everything, it would literally be tweaking things rather than and it would mainly I think be tweaking the things that, no offence to him, that he put out that were the first pass in an Unexpected Journey, because it's a first pass and then there's generally a bit more questions about things like the hurl and things like the weapon strikes, just because it was the first time it had ever got printed.
Yeah.
Whereas the rest had been done since 2001.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whenever it was. So yeah, that I think that's an important point to make. That basically it's just what we have now, continued, more and more new.
So that's quite exciting.
Yes.
There was also there was a bit of a kind of history, a history about the game, which was very interesting. But again, this is the thing. It was interesting. People liked hearing it, but it's not necessarily news that you might want to spill. But Adam talked through the years of the game, how things had worked, how things had maybe died off a little, and how a renewed interest at Games Workshop, should we say?
Yeah, and I think there was an interesting point. He was kind of being very sincere about why Games Workshop hadn't done as much, and I think, it's very, when he was saying it was like, that's completely understandable. When he was saying that Peter Jackson, it says in the extended not commentary, but what do you call it, behind the scenes appendices, thank you, that he didn't know what he was doing when he got to the Battle of Five Armies. He had no clue. So then, if you think about it from Games Workshop perspective, when they get one page of script out of every 200 or whatever it is they get, they just had nothing to work with on that film. So they couldn't release anything because they didn't have anything. The dwarves were redesigned. They didn't have.
You can see it if you watch the film. You can see how much of it is CGI.
Yeah. And
it's always been the CGI stuff that's lagged behind the digital creatures. And when all the orcs, the berserkers, the bats, the trolls, everything that's missing, when that's when that's CGI, you can't possibly design those things and get them out in time.
And I think it's because Adam went out to New Zealand and got everything for what was going to be 2 films. This is
like 2011, 2010.
And they designed the whole product range and the books and everything on the fact that it was going to be 2 films with these specific models. Everything was great, and then it got expanded to 3. And I don't think at that point that Games Workshop were given nearly enough information to do anything with it. So then they got all this stuff and then had to kind of afterwards react to that. And it's very difficult when the people at Games Workshop are seeing things for the first time in the cinema to then be like, right, now we need to go and make these things that we've seen in the cinema.
To then release them 3 months later.
When, I mean, from their point of view as a business, I mean, we come back and maybe bandy around, oh, they're a business, they do this, but that would be a tough thing to kind of do and be like, we'll have missed the wave of the film.
Yeah. But then, as it seems to die out, something magical happens. And this was quite interesting. One of the things that we should get over is that throughout this process, Adam was not only incredibly passionate as a kind of Lord of the Rings fan.
If you wanted one person to lead this...
I'll do it.
Okay.
No?
Alright.
Adam. Got it. Yeah. He was very, very passionate about it.
We need someone who knows what they're doing as well, not just passionate.
That would be interesting.
You tick the box for passionate.
Oh. Do not know what I'm doing. He was incredibly passionate about it, and he was full of praise of the community. Now, he said I remember there being a bit saying, despite the game tailing off, and he said something like, look around the room, and he said it was incredible that despite all that, there was still the 100 people in the room, but obviously the thousands of people worldwide that were still playing it.
Yeah.
And were still playing the game for some reason.
He says he doesn't know how many people there are worldwide, but he knows there's X number of people who would absolutely love what we're doing. And
apparently that GW then took note of that. Yeah. And so, well, there is still a community playing this game, so if we continue to put it on, I'd have no idea about the figures on this, but if you continue to put it on, invest X amount into it, this should yield X amount of profit, it's worthwhile doing.
Yeah.
Hence, we now have a Middle Earth team.
Indeed.
So,
but yeah, Adam, everyone who's watching this video can give themselves a pat on the back. Are you going to watch it?
No, I never watch it.
All right.
Sorry.
But, us having, whatever it is, watching the YouTube video, being on the Great British Hobbit League Facebook page, interacting on there.
Going to an event.
All of this has shown Games Workshop, in the end, and the whole tagline of support your Hobbit hobby, we don't just say it to fill in the end of the video. We've said it because we wanted Games Workshop to notice, and they have noticed.
Yeah. So, if we may have helped, but I don't know. But it's certainly, as in the community, very strong about that. The independent community that's started all these tournaments may have helped, but it certainly hasn't hurt.
No.
And Adam was full of praise for that. And he said, so well done for essentially carrying the torch and keeping it lit.
He said everyone should clap themselves.
Yeah, perhaps. And there was and then the beacons are lit, weren't there? The beacons are lit. Hope is kindled. And we now have a Middle Earth team.
Yes. So yeah, the Middle Earth team is Untroke. He is
product manager.
Product manager. So he kind of his words on it were that he gets to kind of think about everything that's going on with all the other people who are working, and also he's the connection with Warner Brothers.
Jay Clare, who's a terrible human being.
Jay Clare is a wonderful man who won who won the Great British Hobbit League last year. Fantastic work. It's Mr. Lake Town. For those who don't know, he loves Lake Town. He's writing the rules, so if Lake Town gets a revisit at some point,
Fight 5.
I think they'll just
Straight
dominate
5.
Everything.
Tax 5. Watch out for that.
Yeah. Bard Fight 10.
Yeah, obviously. And then 3 sculptors.
Yes.
Who I believe, I forget, but weren't necessarily full time. I think 2 full time, 1 part time. But it's Keith Robertson.
Yeah.
Gav. Sorry.
Yeah.
Gav.
And Rob McFarlane.
Yeah. Sorry, Gav.
Yeah.
If you watch this, you probably don't watch this. But there's 3 people working on sculpting models. Purely, I think, although as I said, one of them's part time.
Yeah.
I think. Purely for this range, or they will be at some point. But that's the kind of team working on it.
But that's cool. 3 sculptors.
Pretty exciting. Right?
Yes, it is.
So I think the first thing they talked about, which was a big plus.
Yes, indeed.
And this I think we can categorically shut down some internet rumours on. Yeah. This is I don't know if it's an exclusive because 100 people know it.
Yeah.
But there's misinformation going about these. These source books, the 5 ludicrously expensive source books going around on eBay, your eBay scalpers are going to have a hard time because these
do not buy them now.
Are coming back.
Buy them when they come back out. Yes, they are. So
categorically, yes.
Yes.
Soon as books.
Yes, and some points on that. One is, yes, there are some typos issues with the FAQs that have come out since the release of the source books. Nothing will change in these source books. Absolutely zero. And the reason is not because Games Workshop can't be bothered or whatever. The reason is because Warner Brothers, if Games Workshop want to change anything in any of their products relating to Warner Brothers, it has to go through a specific review process, which takes at least 1 month. Just to, if they changed, Gandalf the White actually has Sorcerer's Blaster on a 4+, that would take a month.
At least.
And Adam, very sensibly, has said, we can't have people not being able to play the game, play with the models that they're buying. Let's just do it as quickly as possible. We'll just send to reprint.
And that all those discussions aren't necessarily a fact, but the fact is there will be no new profiles in these books.
No,
there'll be no changes to them. I think that was my 100%, but that's actually 99%. I think. But that was the implication, that they will all be back on sale soon. There was no date given. We don't have the date.
No, I think some people had said October. My impression was that they were getting sent to something that needed doing, because as much as we do the magazine, we don't do professional printing. It's going somewhere in a month, and I don't know how many months it takes to do.
I think these will be pre-October. I think this is like a month or two or something.
I would imagine summer, but we don't know. This is our opinion on that.
But it is absolutely these books. They are coming back as physical books. I
All
don't
5 of them.
think there was a discussion about PDFs.
No, I don't think there was. That was the other point that he made, is that Games Workshop aren't allowed to just put stuff on sale in the UK. They have to make sure everything is ready to sell in the shops in Australia and other places. I'm just picking Australia because it's far away, across the world, before they can start selling. So logistically that takes longer. So that's why there's some, another reason to just get it out the door and reprint.
So I'm sure some people, I've already seen some fairly long discussions about the new profiles that will be in these, about what they'll fix. There will be none of it, and so perhaps you'll be disappointed by that. But on the other hand, what would be better? Nothing, or the books. So
the books.
Yeah, the answer is the books. So they will be coming back.
That's
which
this week's
will
trivia.
It will mean that everyone who gets into the game can buy the rules for their models and they can play them. That is a very good thing and is a very exciting thing, and I think it would be quite good news on its own.
Yes.
I was wrong about my punt. I like to put my hands up. My punt, I don't know if I told you this, was that these were going to be on sale on Sunday. I thought that was going to be the kind of, and they'll be on sale. It's like an Apple. The Apple keynotes. He goes, when you can get these? Tomorrow.
Yeah.
And they go, ooh. But yeah, I thought they were going to be in the shop the next day or something.
Yeah.
But no, but it's very soon. Okay, source books. Brilliant.
Cool. That's point 1. I think another thing to maybe mention just on the history and the team's involvement is stuff about the license. So obviously, I think let's go back, rewind a year and a half, 2 years.
Rewind?
You could probably do some funky editing. No.
For anyone who's new to the show, dropping things in, it's not really my style.
No.
It's easy for him to say because he never edits anything, ever.
Anyway, so yes, there was a lot of discussion maybe a year and a half ago about when does Games Workshop license run out?
Oh yeah.
And we've since found that it was obviously quite recently, because that's why we have this new Middle Earth team, is because it kind of came up for renewal and they decided to carry on. Now, this is another number that's been bandied around a lot. 4 years.
That was your fault.
That was... No, I didn't.
Wasn't that one of yours?
I didn't say 4. I specifically didn't say 4. Basically. So, yes. That doesn't mean the licence is there for 4 years. The 4-year quote came from Adam, and Adam said, I have planned out what I am doing, or what his team are doing, for the next 4 years. So, what that means is, they're committed to specific products for 4 years. It doesn't mean the licence runs out after 4 years.
Yeah.
Also,
on that, again, to stop the inevitable backlash, we don't know what they are. Though there's
No.
there's definitely been heavy hints about where it will start.
Yeah.
But we don't know what. No one was told what that 4 years is. Again, we don't have this
Yes.
wealth of information that hasn't got out.
No, the one point I will make is that, so when I said same game, bigger scope, what I meant by bigger scope was more just that the whole point that it was Middle Earth. So questions were asked then about that. Does this mean you could hypothetically include the Blue Wizards or something like that that's never been released before in this Middle Earth strategy battle game? And Adam's response was non-committal in terms of what was going to come, but he said there is scope for that kind of thing.
So I think the bigger scope was to be looking. It's not just new models and new profiles of the things you have, but maybe
another journey source.
We're making this up.
Yeah.
But that, I don't know.
Journey books.
Fourth age stuff or something.
Yeah,
maybe.
It could be anything.
I don't know.
But you could hypothetically get something like the Rohan supplement that was never made with with Thorongil.
Daughters of Ale. At 3 attacks each. And so that doesn't mean the game is getting bigger in terms of points values, doesn't mean anything like that.
No.
It just means the option is there to zoom out of the Hobbit and Lord of the Rings.
But I think Adam made a nice point in saying, we won't just drop Blue Wizards in if we're going to do Blue Wizards. We'd want a journey book or a source book of some sort that was themed around it. So if there was room for the Blue Wizards because of where they took their journey, then they'd be in. Otherwise, so they're not just gonna. I don't think to start with they'll have just random new supplements to outdate the Kingdoms of Men and all of those ones quickly. I think they're there to stay. So I think they'll be, to start, you'd think they would be exploring new avenues that haven't been done yet.
As far as we know, there is no Blue Wizard supplement.
No.
So I want to see that kicking off.
But yeah,
that was also. It's worth pointing out that was a question at the end.
Yes.
That wasn't a mention of it. Someone. I think someone just said, "Will we get Blue Wizards?"
Yeah, it was a direct question.
It was the answer was kind of, we could do that, and that's the scope thing.
Yeah.
We have the opportunity to look beyond what we have, which is incredibly exciting.
Yes, indeed.
Whether they will and where they will look, don't know.
Okay, so that was those points.
Yeah, the scope and the lives.
I should probably bring up my
agenda.
Yeah, well, not that, but my post that I made the other day.
You got it.
It'll be somewhere.
So yeah, that was all very exciting.
Yeah, you chat for a minute.
I'm just trying to think what was next. Was it? Let's talk about models then, I suppose.
Yeah, go for it.
So the. I don't know, I could be wrong about this, but it has, in some way, the Middle Earth studio is operating out of Forge World or under Forge World. I don't know quite the technicalities of that, of quite where it sits or where the offices are or anything like that. But the idea is that any new models they will produce will be Forge World.
Yeah.
Will be Forge World resin, produced with the Forge World. Maybe I was talking about old models?
Yeah, I think that I was just about to bring that up, but yeah, you go.
They're nothing. I'm remembering this, so I could be wrong, but this is how I remember it. Nothing existing will be moving to Forge World.
No.
So the existing range will be staying as it is. The plastic kits, as they are, will be staying as they are and are intended to continue on.
Yeah.
Existing clan packs, fine cost packs will not, I believe, suddenly be moving on to Forge World. They will stay and their stock will run down. There's obviously been the question of, will old models come back, and I think it's fair to say the answer was some will. Some of the old out of production, I think, some of the old, you're nodding so you agree, I think the answer was some of the old out of production models would come back.
No.
But the idea being, you would be able to buy every one, as in every person, not every sculpt. So there have been 10 Gandalfs. You will not be able to get all 10 Gandalfs, you will be able to get Gandalf. People like Halbarad was mentioned. You will be able to get Halbarad. You'll be able to get Gothmog. You won't be able to get 3 poses of them. So in terms of bringing back old models, that seemed to be the priority. Not that those models would be the priority for the first thing they do, but the idea would be that you would be able to get a model of everyone in the range. Something like that.
Yes.
Yeah? In the existing material.
So sorry, I zoned out very briefly because I'm not good at multitasking, but Yeah, basically, it doesn't. If you said this, it doesn't necessarily mean the sculpt that we have currently.
I didn't talk about new ones. I didn't talk about
No,
new
but
ones.
what I meant is something like Girion is out of production. From what Adam said, we can infer we will have Girion.
Yeah.
But what that doesn't mean is it'll be the exact model of Girion that we have now reproduced. They may instead create a new Girion, looking awesome, firing a bow, and sell that instead. Like, what it means is you won't not be able to get a profile that you need.
Yeah, that was it. And there's no time frame on that.
No.
There was no release schedule given. So
No.
these, who knows, that the first replacement model might come out in a year. We honestly don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess from an eBay point of view, some people may try to sell quick now.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
But my honest thing would be, don't pay over the odds for stuff if you are happy to wait.
Yeah.
But don't hold out hope that your favourite sculpt of Halbarad will come back necessarily.
Yeah.
You may get a Halbarad, but it may not be the one blowing a horn with a banner.
And it doesn't suddenly mean as well that all those models that have been running down and going out of production are coming back. So if you are suddenly deliberating over whether or not to get that last metal model, I certainly, my gut feeling is nothing in metal will come back. You know, for it to come back, if there's a metal model for it to come back, it will be a new sculpt. I think that's my gut feeling of what that would mean, that when those things got run down.
I mean, that certainly is opinion, but yeah.
Yeah. So don't think that suddenly, because we now have people working for it, that all the old sculpts are going to come back. I don't think that's the case at all.
Yes, I found it. Too many people posting the Great British Shabbat League Facebook page.
Good timing.
Cool. So, I said same game, bigger scope, new models, which we've kind of touched on with the Forge World stuff.
No, we're just about to.
But we're about to. So yeah, let's talk about new models then.
So new models.
So yeah, Forge World.
Yes.
I think the first thing to note from that perspective is the quality.
Yeah. So I don't have a lot of Forge World models, but I've often looked, particularly at their monsters, their Warhammer Forge monsters.
Smoke.
Yeah, I've got that. I've got £300 of Forge World. It's a guy. And the quality on them is stunning.
Yeah.
So I believe, again, you know, I think you can quote us on this, but the quote might be wrong. Any new models from the Middle Earth studio will be Forge World resin made through the Forge World process.
Now, Forge World resin, again, we're not that familiar because we don't buy Warhammer 40,000 things that come out of
30,000.
Whatever it is, sorry, that's how bad I am. But, yes, it is basically just a harder resin than something like Finecast, which is great because for things that people did, I think, get annoyed about with Finecast, the detail was often very good, but I think the two things that were most annoying about it were the amount of flash that you sometimes got and had to get rid of, and two was snapping and bending of spears and swords and that kind of thing. And I think that the new Forge World resin will definitely be much better for that kind of thing.
Yeah. Obviously, and a lot of the question that come up has been price. We don't know about the prices. There was no price list revealed, no model range revealed, anything like that. But Adam did say you could expect them to be of. He basically said, look at the Forge World website.
Yeah.
They're probably going to be about those prices.
Yeah.
So, you might want to go and look at. I think there's some models called the Death Core of Krieg or something like that. That are, I think they're 30k models, but that's the range, not the cost. But they're quite slight men.
Yeah.
And they are. He didn't mention these, but they are possibly the things that are closest in scale to the Lord of the Rings ones on that. I don't know, but go and have a look at them. And I am guessing now. This is entirely my own opinion, but I think the price for them might be roughly similar to what it is.
Yes, well, I've clicked on one and it's Death Corps of Krieg. Infantry platoon, £295, but that's...
It's probably a few guys, right?
That's for a lot of stuff. I've also managed to go on the Finnish Forge World.
Brilliant. That's why we get him in. So...
Why would it think I'm in Finland?
That's super secret. The secret's out. We record this in Finland for tax reasons. So, and as for how they will be sold, I honestly don't think the decision's been made.
No.
I don't think there are products like that. Who knows what's going on behind closed doors? But again, the phrase that came out was something like probably a sensible number.
Yeah.
So it was like I think like go and look, and if you can buy a squad of Space Mawatsis in groups of 10.
Yes.
You got something?
Death Corps of Kriegs, infantry squad advancing 10-man resin multi-part kit with a sergeant and flamer. So it has 8 normal guys and 2 special guys.
I think a flame is a weapon rather than a person.
Anyway, and that is 40 Great British pounds, which means you're paying £4 per model, which is actually, at that price, cheaper than the current clan packs of 3 in Finecast.
Yeah.
So I don't think from that you'd end up paying more than
That's
we
not,
do now.
that's
with the
not
3
what
clan
they've
packs.
said the cost
No.
will be.
This is an opinion.
Yeah, this is us looking at it. And the packs are 10 and
And now an
potentially...
island.
for tax reasons. And potentially in sensible numbers, which logic would say might be 6 or 12. That is speculation on our part.
Yes.
But that would be the idea that you would get them from Forge World in packs.
And
that
probably
are
packs
sensible.
more than 3 though. You'd
I'd
imagine.
But again, inference.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, I think that one of the other things about Forge World resin is I think, don't quote me, but I think because it can be a bit more sturdy, they can be a bit more, they can do a bit more detail on certain things and not worry about it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, there's things like the weaponry or bits of armour, bits of chainmail, that kind of thing they might be able to do to a
Yeah.
higher standard on their schools
There's actually
because they know
discussion-
it'll come out in
discussion about resculpting it,
Yeah.
right? About having the, I think it was with Keith,
Mhm.
about having the ability, do you look at the old range and say, well, let's do it the same style, or do we use the fact that Forge World can do it in more
Yeah.
detail? And so that's a good thing.
So yeah, I think moving to this resin, let's just take price out of the equation for 30 seconds. I think it's a great thing that we're going to Forge World resin for the Middle Earth game.
Yeah.
Price factored back in, I'm not worried from the point of view of it won't be more expensive than buying a Lake Town or Gundabad or whatever army now.
Probably.
In my head.
Yeah.
In my head, probably.
Yeah.
It may be,
Um,
but that's
and the,
that's my
again, a lot of
gut
people have been
feeling.
moaning about the cost, and it's like the question I would ask myself is, would you rather there were new Forge World models that were more expensive than you like,
Mhm.
or that there were no new models? And they, yes, there'll be models. Yes, they are probably not going to be any cheaper.
Yeah.
Probably not.
And I think the major there's 2 kind of issues on the price point. One is when Lord of the Rings first came out, it was a very affordable hobby, and 2 is there are other miniature companies who do models for certain things that are not necessarily as expensive as Games Workshop. But I think that I don't know, there are lots of things that cost a lot of money. Going to a football match, buying a computer console and game,
A
if you're
wife.
into that. Yeah, that. But there are lots of things that are expensive, and it's just all what it's worth to you. And if there are 10 fantastically detailed, amazing looking Forge World resin models, yes, it might be 50 quid for these 10, but I'd just save up and get the 10.
Yeah.
I would much rather be in that position than being like David said, there's nothing.
Yeah.
I can't even have that option to save up and spend too much money on these plastic figures.
But personally,
Resin figures.
for me, as someone who doesn't have an awful lot of disposable income, I have the bank takes most of it. But as someone who thought the game was dead 6 months ago, I am over the moon that there are going to be new models.
Yes, indeed.
And maybe because of the price, I'll buy slightly less than if they were
Cheaper.
Yeah, but
Which is probably a good thing on our painting.
yeah, absolutely.
So yeah.
So yeah, all the new models, I think, for the foreseeable future will be Forge World resin. I believe he said he did not rule out plastic.
No.
There was the NL,
Yeah.
and this is
This is
again
now getting into
influence,
opinion.
yeah. But I think it was down the line potentially there might be
Yeah.
plastic early.
No.
It could happen
Yeah.
in the future, but you should prepare yourselves for Forge World resin.
Yeah.
For Middle Earth.
Yeah.
Is the thing. Someone asked about a starter box, and I think the indication was there could be a new starter box. It didn't seem to be at the forefront,
yeah,
but that it might use the plastics that exist.
So you could imagine, because they've done the 3, they did the Fellowship, then they did the 2 Towers, then they did Return of the King. They might revisit something else from. So instead of doing Return of the King where they did the Minas Tirith fight, they might do a Pelennor Fields based one or a Black Gate based one.
Even in The Hobbit, you could do a Desolation Smaug, couldn't you? You could do the Merkwood Rangers, the Hunter Orcs,
exactly.
Potentially.
Now, this is completely made up.
This is completely made up. But there was an idea that because of the plastics in the range, there could be a new star set at some point in that.
But I don't expect it in the first 6 months.
And I wouldn't expect it to be new models, new plastics.
No. I mean, they might have one who is the draw in it, but you know, we're getting tenuous with what we talked about.
Yeah, I think the safest thing to say, with 95% clarity, is you should expect to be buying Forge World resin if you want to buy the new models. And of course, you don't have to buy the new models if you think they're too expensive, because you can get these books here and buy the old models.
Yeah.
So that's very exciting.
Yes, indeed.
You're not being forced to pay for anything.
No, you're not.
That's all. You're having a game continued and the rules re-released. So go and buy the books.
Okay, new models. Now, what's going to come first is the big question. And we have one. We had one. It wasn't a teaser. It was a bit of a teaser. It was there in your face.
Which is not always the best thing. But we were specifically asked. Again, it was worth. I think Adam kind of went with a smile. You're not going to take photos of this, right? And there was a kind of teaser on the screen of part of the model, and then kind of, I'll show you this if again you agree for obvious, perfectly reasonable reasons to not take photos of it. But don't even know if you know this. I've got a teaser.
You've got a teaser.
Because even though I've got to say this, and you know what's coming, you know what the model is, right? I think it's been talked about. Yeah, we have there's a missing dwarf. I believe you described him as.
That's how I described him.
It's
missing dwarf.
Ooh. It's what everyone wanted. It's amazing that kind of, I think what the model that everyone assumed would be first is potentially the one that's going first, and unfortunately it looks like someone did take a picture of this, because I've managed to find a picture on the internet, but I can now reveal exclusively here on the Palantir
right here
that I have found a picture of Games Workshop's Dane. I'm going to flash it up now. Amazing, right? Dane!
Yeah.
A model of Dane! No. Of course not. Such good lols.
Dane was awesome. Dane warranted that reaction.
Yeah. It's obviously, it seems as if everyone, thankfully, was... We certainly would not put a picture up if there was a picture, and if anyone had put a picture on the internet, then they're a very naughty boy and you're not our friend. But it certainly seems, because it hasn't broken out the world over, that everyone respected Adam's wishes and didn't take a picture, which is wonderful. Well done to all of you.
At the event, yes.
Yeah, indeed. So again, that was a polite request from Games Workshop. If we show you this, please don't spread it over the internet. Everyone agreed, and sorry, we can't show you that.
To let you know how good the Dane was, 100 people broke into applause as soon as it was shown.
Yeah, it was a glorious moment, and I think because it's Keith, isn't it? It's Keith Robertson, and he was there. Yeah. So he, with his first Middle Earth model, he was like, oh, thank God, yes. But yeah, and I know Adam was over the moon with it. I think it said that he'd just got back from holiday or something, and it hadn't meant to be in there, and he'd just seen the photo and go, well, this has got to go up. Yeah. So it wasn't complete. It wasn't even entirely. You didn't see the whole model. It was slightly zoomed in, wasn't it? As memory serves. But it looks incredible.
Fantastic. Yes, and I think Adam will be very pleased, just because I think from being a kid, Dane was one of his favourite characters.
Yes. It's also worth noticing that I think your one. No, there was a phrase someone posted up saying, "Dane looks better than anything we've seen." It was something like that. And again, these videos have run with this, and I don't know who wrote that, and I don't know what they meant, but I don't know whether they're saying that Dane looks better than any Dane sculpt we've seen. I think that was the intention. Because I don't know if you've heard,
not so
but
Dane
yeah,
sculpt.
not utterly random
Dane sculpt.
Billy Connolly dwarf are like or other models of a Dane-like dwarf are available. And I think the implication of whoever wrote that was it's the best Dane.
Yeah.
But I've heard people going, this is the best model. They're saying it's the best model in the Middle Earth range ever. Now, I haven't seen it finished.
No.
It's pretty good.
Yes.
It might be. I don't know.
It probably could creep into the top 20 just on that shot.
Yeah, it was the excitement, and there looks to be immediately an extra level of detail. Now, you don't know if that is because it's the original and it's incredibly high, zoomed in and high quality and yada yada yada. But it looks spectacular.
Yes,
it looks very good.
Everyone was like,
yeah, it looks It looks like Dane.
Yes.
But the likeness, it was like going to some of those early Lord of the Rings likenesses. It's stunning.
Yeah, and no offense to the amateur sculptures out there who've done an attempt at Dane, this blows it out of the water.
It was gorgeous. He was only on foot.
Yes.
There was no pig. Will there be a pig? It wasn't confirmed.
No.
You would think. I would guess.
You would guess that. Yes.
You would think. But there was no. That wasn't. That's us again.
It's an opinion, but there will be a pig.
Yeah.
There is no way they will do Dane on foot and not on pig.
Immediately it's like what. I think if you went and did a straw poll of people, what would you want that's missing for the film?
Dane on pig.
Dane would win.
Dane on pig would win.
And if they're going to make Dane, they know they'll disappoint people if they don't do him on pig. Yeah. So, I think there'll be a pig.
I think you're right. Dane on pig would be if any model ever could get made.
Which is a wonderful thing when you think about it. I know Adam's biased because he loves Dane, but it's also wonderful to think that isn't the reason. It's not because Adam loves Dane. Yeah. It's because they're fans and they're doing what people want for the game.
And just think, if you just sit back and thinking about it for a minute, you've got Adam, who's hugely passionate. You've also got Jay, who was sat not on a YouTube video but sat in our position.
Yeah.
Yes, okay, he worked in the Warhammer World store, so yes, he was a Games Workshop employee, but he was an integral part of the community. Somebody who would have been, if he wasn't writing now, just as excited as we are.
Absolutely.
You've got somebody who loves the game in charge of writing the rules, which we think is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's no offence to previous
I don't think we've actually said, because I think we didn't know if Jay was public, but congratulations to Jay for getting the job. Hugely, it's awesome. We can, I don't know, and it seems too fake to say I couldn't imagine anyone better, but he's a perfect, awesome fit for him. I'm sure he's going to do a great job.
I'm going to say now, Jay's the kind of player who can go up to that level and play anybody in the world with the filthiest army in the world and give them a cracking game and probably win. He may not, but he can go to that level. But he's also the kind of person who would love playing scenario games for fun and not do, I'm not going to trap this person because I need to win.
Yeah.
He'd do, I'm going to do this because it's cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you've got somebody who has that full spectrum of, can go from beardy to fluffy scenario play, which is exactly what you want in a writer, because they're going to think about all of the things in between, which is brilliant.
So the first model, and I think that's important as well. I think it is the first model, as in that's been worked on.
Yeah.
I think that's the reason it's there. I don't think it's one of a range, and so it's only the one model that we've been shown. It's only part of the one model that we've been shown. It wasn't finished. Yeah. But I think the idea. I think they said it had been 2 weeks. They've been working on it, something like that.
Yeah. And that is the only thing, you not being at the presentation once you've talked to people who've been there, that's the only thing you're missing out on as a viewer, as a person who didn't attend Throne of Skulls, because...
And the atmosphere.
Yeah.
That's pretty special.
Okay. And the pub quiz afterwards.
Great pub quiz.
But that's the only thing that's the only thing that was being held back, because we can't show you a picture.
I've got it up here. I could show you it with my mind if you like. Is it working? Flash out now the Dane picture. Based on that, the future is ludicrously bright for the models. It's very, very exciting. How much will Dane be? Haven't got a clue.
Yes. So yes, my points were same game, we've talked about that. Bigger scope, we've talked about that, what I meant by that. New models, we've talked about that. New books, we've not talked. We can come back to new books. We kind of talked about that. Old books again. We've talked about that. Some OOP models back. Production models back. We've talked about that. Lengthy license. We've talked about that. And I was deliberately said lengthy license because I don't know when they got a license to. That wasn't me trying to be vague. I just don't know.
I do, but I'm keeping it from you.
Okay.
For lols.
Okay.
I don't have a clue.
Right. Missing Dwarf. Ooh, we talked about that.
He looks really, really
it's
good.
awesome news.
The date was there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Of that's all right. Yeah. Dane.
Hmm?
The date he will be released on the 7th of April, 2016. No. I believe it said late summer of this year.
Yes.
For Dane. I think that's all it said. So that's exciting.
I'm just going to say, from our point of view, what late summer means. For my company, when we do this,
like towards the end of summer, right?
But we always say late spring, and we can like get that to like the end of May. As spring.
I mean,
like when companies say a season, or a magazine says a season, like that is not it basically means within a 3-4 month time. It's a hand wavy 3-4 months around. Put the middle in. If they said summer, probably centre it on July. Give it a buffer 2 months.
It ends in August, right? It's June, July, August. It's summer.
But
meteorology.
Yeah, but I think that business-wise, you could probably.
So we don't know when it is.
So we don't know,
and there was no confirmation of that, and it's probably because they don't know.
Yeah.
I guess it's not utterly known on when it's going to be released.
No.
What I do think, and again we're speculating now, what is very exciting, is that I don't think you'll be waiting for Christmas every year like the films.
No.
I think, speculating, you are now going to have a regularly steady release of Middle Earth things throughout the year.
Yes.
That's the impression I get. As they're done, they'll get released in a Forge World style, I think.
Yeah. So another thing to point out is then what impact does that have on the White Dwarfs, which haven't had much Hobbit material in. So there's kind of 2 points as to why White Dwarf didn't have Hobbit material in. One is because they weren't releasing stuff and they changed to the weekly format. The weekly format was they would put in what was being released. So that's why we didn't get Hobbit in there. The other reason we didn't get Hobbit in, say, the Visions piece, whether you like Visions or not, is simply just because not that many people were sending in Hobbit photos. Now, this isn't Games Workshop trying to tell us we've not included Hobbit in the weekly White Dwarfs because you've not sent us pictures. Nothing like that at all. But what Adam said to us is if you want to see Hobbit stuff in White Dwarf, as in something like, probably more like Visions, just send photos in.
Yeah. There was almost like a plea to send in your stuff.
Yeah.
He was like saying, look around the room, there's stunning stuff everywhere.
He wants to put it all in there.
Yeah. So send it in. So if you're confident in your paint, if you're happy with your paint, if you think you've got a great looking army, send it in. They asked for pictures on a clean sort of white background. Yeah. I think it was specified white, but a simple,
a flat,
plain background.
Yeah, flat background.
And send them into I think it's Team at White Dwarf or something like that. But you can find it online.
Yeah.
But there was a plea to send that in to kind of drum up more support to get more of the word out there.
Yeah, and I think going to the weekly ones, that'll be taken care of when things are released.
Yeah.
So yes, okay, but there was a dip, but there was a dip in the whole game, not just White Dwarf.
I also have no idea, and this wasn't said, whether the Middle Earth stuff will be in there because it's Forge World. Like they don't normally show Forge World stuff in there. I don't know. But with Dane potentially, hopefully, coming out late summer, also leads us on to rules.
Yes, can I also just put in for one point, when you said about Forge World making something different, there was one question asked which... okay, 2 questions asked. You come back to that in a sec. What I was going to say is, traditionally independent retailers can't sell Forge World stuff because it's all direct. Am I right? Something like this. So, and Adam just couldn't say at that point in time whether Middle Earth stuff will be available via third party to Games Workshop sellers that you would get now for the Forge World specifics. Or whether it will all have to be direct, however you buy Forge World now.
Yeah.
But that's just a small point to say. But we didn't get Adam isn't the right person to answer that. I don't think that's his decision at all. That's somebody in a suit somewhere else in Games Workshop decision.
My thing of how they do things differently was about scenery. There was a question about will scenery kits come back like the Oscilia Thrones?
Yes, that was a good question.
And someone mentioned like the Lake Town stuff that never got saw the light of day. And again, I think the thing was to do scenery in Forge World resin would be ridiculously expensive, so I wouldn't expect that. But you might. There was some comment about go and have a look at scenery on the Forge World site.
Yeah.
Maybe something like that. And there are things like game of battle boards.
Yeah.
And things like that.
Yeah.
And this is again speculating, but it was that idea that will there be scenery kits in plastic as you know them? New ones probably not.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there was an idea. I think he did mention Oscilia Thrones.
Yeah,
He
said that they. I think he specifically said that Oscilia Thrones should be one of the art production things that will come back.
Should be. Might be. At some point.
Basically, Adam said he would like that.
Yeah.
He didn't commit to this is 100% they will be in the stores at this date, but he said I would like them to come back.
Yeah. And if I don't know, my inference of that is if the guy who's running the line would like something, the guy who's running the line likes Dane.
Yeah.
Dane's coming.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
You know.
I think another point is he didn't say we wouldn't do the scenery. He just said would you pay £100 for a Lake Town?
Yeah.
So whatever it was.
Yeah.
Just a hypothetical number for a hypothetical piece of scenery. And I think, and then he was like, cheer if you'd want this. And I think quite a lot of people were like, yeah, we...
There was a great bit with the, someone asked about the Thorrens company, the unreleased Thorrens company. And I think he...
That's the one from the Unexpected Journey book where you see different characters.
I think he quite pessimistically kind of said, as like, yeah, but you wouldn't want another Thorrens company, would you? And everyone went, hey!
And I was like,
oh,
yes,
okay.
more Thorrens company.
So, again, that's certainly clearly not on their agenda straight away.
That rumour's kind of been quashed about. There's secret versions of that around. There are 2 versions in the world, I think. Adam was kind of saying, basically, the proof of concept and something that was sent out to the actors, something they had to do very quickly at the start to be like, this is what we can do. Do you agree? Can we continue? Yes, all good, let's go now. They were never intended to be released ever, so there's never been a... people talk about this initial casting stage where maybe 10, 15 are made. Nothing like that.
Probably not.
So he said, what did he say? He said, if someone does have it, I'd like to know who they are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they've stolen it.
Yeah. So, Kev, sorry.
Yeah.
So with the model coming, or some models coming, it said Dane coming late summer 2016. It didn't say Dane and Iron Hills Dwarves and Catapult Trolls and I don't know, Rams and
Bats.
all those sort of things, and a book. It didn't say that, which means Dane comes out without rules, or Forge World, Dane comes out with rules on the website, maybe. Or, again, this is speculating now.
Or in the pack.
Yeah. So my gut feeling now is that Dane's coming out before a book.
Yeah.
And they will want you to play with Dane. So I think we should be looking for a kind of release schedule where rules come out alongside.
Maybe
models.
the White Dwarf.
Yeah, maybe something
We've done
like
that
that
before.
But there is, of course, a new book coming.
Yes.
Of some sort.
Yes.
That I think it's fair to say is not a new edition of the rules.
Nope.
It's
a
not,
source book.
It's a source book of...
Or journey book, whichever you want to call it.
Journey books of something Hobbity.
Yes.
And we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know for sure. Basically, I think what they will be doing is because what Adam was kind of saying is he wants to address the things in the films that
are missing.
Yeah. So basically, let your imagination go from that. But basically, I think it'll be anything you wanted will probably come.
Yeah, you'd have to if you're doing Dane, you'd have to guess that the Iron Hills Dwarves will have a presence. So Iron Hills Dwarves, maybe Ram Riders, I don't know, a chariot. Who knows? But those sort of things, and then you would think
Armoured Azog,
the
evil side of that as well. So basically, the Battle of Five Armies, because there wasn't that much they could do about that in the first instance, and then potentially some stuff that they may have missed.
Again, they didn't say
other
this.
Things. No,
they didn't say that this is what it was, but the inference was that that's where they're starting.
Yes.
And I think
that's what I'd expect.
The date for this was this year, late this year, would be a book, which is ridiculously exciting when you think about it.
Just think back. I'm going to call you on it. You were like, That Radagast on the Eagle
Yeah, I said
release
it, yeah.
is the last ever release.
Radagast and Eagle and White Council. I said that would be the last ever SBG release with a glum. I'm thrilled to put my hand up and be wrong.
Wrong.
And never been so happy.
I know how much you enjoy being wrong, but you are wrong.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm thrilled. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. It's absolutely great.
Yes.
Because it seemed it.
Yeah. That's what we think. We don't know whether it's going to be a Unexpected Journey, Desolation as well, Battle of Five Armies, all in one book, all in one journey book with scenarios across all of those, or it could just be Battle of the Five Armies, Iron Hills and some Gundabad's, and maybe a few scenarios on the Battle of the Five Armies. So maybe it's replacing the one that came in free in the
You don't know if it's the Battle of Five Armies film or if it's the Battle of Five Armies source book in a way.
Yeah. So we don't know the scope of the source book. We don't know how big it would be. It could be, I don't know how big these are.
About A4 on it. But it sounded.
But this
like,
is 48 pages. You don't know whether it's going to be a 48-page book or a 100 and whatever multiple they do.
My only gut feeling on it was that it was talking about the book or a book, and I think it'll be biggish.
Yeah.
I don't think, as I said, I don't think it's a new edition of the game.
No.
I think it could be, but that seems quite quick to me.
My impression from what he was saying is I think it will be profiles, scenarios, fluff, whatever. That kind of book, like the Return of the King one or the Two Towers one. That kind of book. That's us speculating.
It sounds very much like what you want it to be, if I'm brutally honest.
Yeah.
I think.
And I'm going to give the shout out to Larry for, we've said this before on the show, but that it would be wonderful if it was on the Unexpected Journey, because then we could call the profile book what, Damian?
An unexpected journey book.
Brilliant.
Copyright Larry Miller.
Yeah.
So yeah, that I don't know.
Billboard in dressing gown profile.
Yeah, absolutely, of course. Before the end of the year, it would seem there'll be a book. He also said something like, "He's like, what do you want?" And I think he was assuming cheap.
Yeah.
And he was like one of these or like a kind of leather bound forge belt. And,
yeah.
And the room went leather bound. And I don't know what that was. But I was like, leather, big shiny book.
Yeah.
So that kind of the format of it's still undecided.
Yeah.
But you don't make a 48-page book
into
a leather-bound one. Is my gut feeling.
Yeah.
I don't know. But
yeah, we are tremendously excited.
It was wonderful.
Yeah.
And that I mean, we've talked about it at length because we're excited, but that's the news. Yeah. There's nothing else. There's not a big raft of releases.
There's some other stuff that came out of questions potentially that we could add.
Is Legolas or Gimli better?
That was a good question. But yeah, from our point of view, the week paying your ticket for the event was amazing. The book was amazing. I would have happily paid the ticket just to listen to Adam, which is essentially we're giving you an abridged version, but
his was better.
His was better because you're listening to the person who's in charge of the game you love, talking about it, and he's saving it.
Yeah.
In a huge way, and
along with his team.
Regardless of how optimistic or pessimistic you are about things, just be optimistic. You've got somebody or the team who want to make it all work, and all you can do is trust them.
Well, the thing that really came out of it was just passion and enthusiasm.
These guys don't care about how much money they make.
Yeah.
The people who are making the stuff don't care. Yes, okay, there'll be someone in a suit who sets the price and who sets where it can be sold and all of that kind of thing, but the people who make it really care about playing toy soldiers with their lovely figures.
You've got incredibly passionate people who are right now, like that's the thing, because knowing Jay, I know Jay fairly well, and you just go and chat to about everything about work, and now he's shut up because he goes off to work and writes the rules.
That you asked a brilliant question. How much time in a week do you play
games? Yeah.
And they said 8 hours?
About 8 hours, because that's what we talked about on the Palantir. It was the what would you ask them, and I remembered it. Yeah.
So let's assume 40-hour week, 8 hours, that's a fifth, one in every day, full day. Obviously it will be spread across multiple days.
But we're allowed to say that if their managers are watching, they're not going to play games that much.
We could have misremembered the number.
Yeah, it's 2 hours if it helps. But yeah, so they are play testing, and obviously it changes depending on deadlines. I think. Well, that was quite interesting. But yeah, people saying like, I don't know, will I get more Numenorians? And it was like, maybe.
Maybe. And he just, what was he asked? Adam was asked if you could do any model, what would it be? And he said, I want a new sculpt of Imrahil because I love Imrahil.
Yeah.
But he didn't say that they were deliberately going to do Imrahil. It was just he was asked that kind of question. So I think, whilst he says he's planned for 4 years, I think that's kind of a high level. I want a book, and then I want a journey book in here, or I want, and we're making this up completely, and then I want this there. But yeah, it's the next 4 years. You can hopefully expect new models, new books coming throughout that 4 years reasonably frequently, as if it was, as you would expect from the Unexpected Journey release time frames, and then.
I also think you might be able to expect more of this sort of thing, not this, the presentation thing, with GW reaching out. And the only way you'll get more of that is if you are positive about it.
On the Facebook groups, on the YouTube channels, please be positive, because the only reason people like Adam, Nick Baton from the tournament side...
Oh, tournaments. That was a great question. There was... apologies if whoever asked the question is watching this, but there was quite a long question about, so bearing in mind the success of Throwing Skulls and some other events, do you think that in the future there might be some, and there was this long question, I remember Adam went, Nick, and Nick went, yes. There will be more events.
More, which is great. And then he said, yes, and they're on sale now.
Yeah.
But, sorry, we got
I think you would expect to see things like, and now I think if you go to a Forge World Open Day, and again, guessing here, the Middle Earth team will be there.
Yeah, and
Games
chatting
Day.
to you about stuff they may be working on.
I don't know about this, but I think Forge World, whatever the legality or the corporate stuff is, they seem to be more forthcoming with previews, so you might get more of this interaction. And it's a great thing. And they've never... not never, because the oldie 20 years ago they used to do things differently at Games Day. But over the last 10 years, 15 years, they haven't done this for 40k or for Warhammer. They've only done it for this event.
We should be privileged to be in this situation.
So I think it's a wonderful thing that Adam and the team did that they didn't have to do to help us out. And if you now know if you know this stuff a week later than 100 people did, then be glad you know it.
Yeah.
20 weeks earlier than
if there wasn't the internet, nobody would know it apart from the people in the room. And I think the other thing is that this would never have been possible if the films were coming out because of all of the NDAs from Warner Brothers about you can't. We're in a brilliant time where we're going to be getting all these releases, and they can actually talk to us about what might be coming. Okay, it's not with the release of the film, but I don't know. I think they can. They don't have to rush. I think they can do better now than they would have done when the films come out.
I don't think they could have shown that Dane picture before the Battle of Five Armies. I think the fact is things might have relaxed slightly because the designs are out there now.
Yeah.
And that is what we know. Yeah. I think I'm sure over the next few weeks we'll chat about bits and bobs, but that is it, and that is what anyone who is there knows.
Yeah.
So we've tried to be as honest as
question
possible.
Or the odd comment that Adam made or anybody else made, but that is the majority.
Yeah, and that is our attempt to be as frank as we possibly can with you, in the hope that anyone who's watching this who wasn't there now feels satisfied about the information you've got. And if you're not satisfied with the information you got, we're sorry, but that's the information.
Yeah.
Like, there is no more.
And I don't think, also look at it from this wasn't Games Workshop just trying to do a press release. It's nothing to do with that.
It's interacting with the community.
Yeah, and that's the key thing. And that's, I think, be mindful of that when you're on the forum. Like, people like Adam and Jay and the sculptors, Gav, Keith and Rob, they're going to be on the Great British Hobbit League Facebook page or whatever. They may watch a YouTube video, don't know, they may not, but I don't know, they are real people. And we've had it at times where you've had comments in the comment section that are pretty negative, and it doesn't really inspire you to do much more.
You just feel slightly apathetic towards them, don't you?
Yeah. But I think that we should, as maybe you have strong opinions on these kind of things, but if as much as possible you could be positive, I think the wider community will really benefit from the interaction. And I'm not trying to say that because I'm trying to, lick the shoes of Games Workshop. It's just that Games Workshop make the games. You've got fantastic people making the games who want to interact with us. We should make interacting with us fun for them.
It's always fun to interact with us. So the message is, be excited.
Let your imagination run wild on what could come.
And look to their coming at dawn on the 7th month.
Yeah, that's how Dane.
Something like that.
Am I calling Adam Dane now?
Maybe, yeah. That's. I think that's everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot. We don't have a lot more information.
No.
So there, we hope you have enjoyed that.
Yes.
If you're new to the show and the channel, what we're now going to do is sign it off in our now customary way with a 50-point bat rep. This is our own. This is our own little invention that started at episode 50 that we've now been going on with, and it's exactly what it sounds like. And who is the reigning champion?
I am a Castellan of Dol Guldur with a lone Felwarg.
Indeed, and he has he's won 3 games,
Something like that, yeah.
I think, because he beat Aowen.
Beat Aowen.
And then beat the King's Huntsman.
Yeah, and then beat somebody.
The Thrain Alfred combo.
Yeah.
And today he's up against exactly what we told you he'd be up against, which is a Rohan captain on foot with shield. We'll come back and show you that now.
So here we are, Damian.
Hello.
We are going to play a 50-point bat round.
Indeed. My captain Rohan is making a rare trip out of the case.
Yes. Looks cool though.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, I've zoomed
Been a while
in too
since
much.
you saw the field of battle.
Yep, and so he is defense
6.
6 with
Rohan
shield.
captain with a shield. He's got a sword, can feint. Won't feint, is shielding.
Yes.
Shielding for life.
Can't go up to defense 7 because he can't afford heavy armour.
Unless you want to make it a 55-point battle. Ooh, you get a mortal blade.
Ooh.
Yes, please.
So yes, in my army, regular Palantir viewers will already know. For those new, you'll know because I said it on the sofa. Or Damian did. I can't remember who. But anyway, this is a Castellan of Dol Guldur. He has 12 will points, which we'll be counting down here. And a Felwarg, who's being proxied by a normal warg.
Indeed.
So priority.
Yeah.
It's a 6.
6. It's strong from Rohan.
And for the wargs...
Also 6.
6. Let's go again.
I get 4.
4 to beat.
You get 6.
6. What were you saying about a strong start?
The warg could get into charge range of the Rohan captain if he wants.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. I will take your bait and charge you.
Okay.
Fighting.
Yep. What did you get?
Hands off.
Yep.
I've got 5 highest.
5 high. So the warg needs a 6 with the fight value. It's gone off. Let's redo it. A 1.
Oh, strength 4, defense 4. 4's to kill him.
Let's go.
Oh, he got rid of the warg. However, I fear the warg may not be the main threat.
No.
It's good for the captain though.
Yeah.
Into the shielding phase.
My thinking was that the warg would damage you without having to use up my Castellan's precious will.
thinking.
Did not work.
Did not work. Rohan gets a 1 for priority. Strong.
Castellan goes first.
Castellan goes in. I will shield.
Do your worst.
I've got 6.
Okay.
He's done everything he could.
He can't. He does. I have the fight value advantage, so 6 here will win it for me.
Lose a will point.
Ah,
Shall we just go into the fight?
I think we should.
Shield. I've got a 5 highest.
That's a lot of 4s. So a 5 to win here for Castellan. There it is.
I will. Oh, what's your other one?
Sorry, it went off the table. My other one is a 3.
I use a point of might.
Ooh.
Lose a point of will.
That's a precious might point gone to get me down to 10.
It's the only thing I have it for. I will shield.
Yeah.
It's a 4 highest.
It's
You
not
get 6,
good.
I can't catch you.
Oh, it's only a 4.
Point of might.
Ooh.
Stay alive.
Then what?
Then lose a point of will. Sorry, yeah, I forgot. Lose a point of will. That's 2 might burn early.
You've got a fate point still, and 2
do.
wounds.
Shielding.
Yeah.
He's got a 5 highest.
Oh,
He
2 5s.
needed the 6.
5 to win.
Oh no.
It's a 6.
5's to wound him.
5's to wound. First roll, needing a 5. Not taken. Second one, needing a 5.
Oh no. I'll take
Taken.
the wound. Lose a point of will.
So you're down to 1 wound, 1 fate. I am down to 8 will. So at the cost of 4 will, You've lost a lot.
It's not gone well. Shielding. He's got 6.
Oh, he's got it. Castellan, can you get the 6?
Oh!
No, it's a double 1.
Lose a point of will.
Down to 7. Now, what did the King's Huntsman get him down
He got
to?
down to 2, I believe. Yeah. Shielding. He's got 6.
Oh, needs a 6. Oh, he's got it. He's got it.
5 or more, 1 at a time.
So 2 5s to guarantee a kill.
Yeah.
A 5.
No, don't count stuff stable.
It's cocked anyway. A 3. Needs a 5.
Lose a point of will.
And that takes the first dice away. We're down to 6 left.
Shielding. It's a 6.
Oh, he's got the 6. Needs a 6. It's not a 6.
Lose a point of will.
He's down to 5. Now it's getting a bit hairy. Where's the 5 then?
Come on, lad. Shielding. He's got 5.
Ooh.
Oh.
5 to do it. Oh, he's not got it.
Lose
He's down
a
to
point of
4. Come on, Casty, you need to step your game up.
Shielding. He's got the 6.
Where is it? I don't see it.
Oh, I'd moved it with the tree.
Did he get a 6?
It was slightly cocked. I don't know what the 50 point back rep community will.
Let's see what happens. Does it matter? He's got a 2 and a 6.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter anyway.
1 at a time
Needs double 5 to kill.
to guarantee it.
Number 1.
No, it
It's
doesn't
gone. Number 2.
Doesn't
It's gone. Number 3. It's hard with the camera.
Oh, he's got 1.
Oh no.
8 point.
Oh, he survives!
He's got another attack.
So now there's
Don't
no
you get
protection.
it?
Any 5s will do it. No, it doesn't
Lose
do
a
it.
point of will.
It's down to 3. It's 1 5 to wound will do it from now. This needs to be an exemplary performance from the Rohan captain. What can he get?
Shielding. It's a
He's got a
6. He's got the 6.
3 left. This needs to be a 6 for the Castellan. He's got it!
1 5 to
1 5 to do it. The first attempt doesn't do it. The second attempt doesn't do it! Doesn't do it!
Lose
The captain! He's down to 2. This is as much as he's been down to before.
Shielding. He's got a 5 highest. It's not enough at this level.
First attack. Gets a 1. Second attack. Oh, he gets a 6! Oh. 1 5 will do it. First attack.
Doesn't
Top of
count.
the table. It's a 1. This needs to be a 5. It's not! He's down to 1 will point! We could get a draw! We could get a draw! All you have to do is win this fight to win.
Shielded. He's got a 6.
He's got a 6! First attack of the Castellan. This has to be a 6. This has to be a 6 to get the draw. Or to give himself the chance. A 6!
There's a place down. No, Casty's
gone.
He has fallen to the shielding captain of Rohan.
Oh my word!
What a legend. Never in doubt. With that, we'll go into a post-battle back row breakdown. He's done it!
And I think stopping Casty from getting to Aowen's record of 4.
Oh, maybe, yeah. So is Aowen still...
Ryan, tell us.
sort it out.
We need a league table here.
Yeah.
Of
I can't believe it. When you were on... I think you were on 9 wheel when he was out of mine.
I mean, the Warg did well.
Yeah, the one did very well. But
Yeah, you used your might in the first 2 fights, didn't you?
Well, I
Or
had to,
2 of the
I
first
think.
3.
if I've got a chance to win the fight,
Yeah.
I can't...
Not use the might.
Yeah, I can't give you... if I've got an ability to win it, I can't give you that turn to hit him. But I think when scholars of the game... Bless you. When SB 50-point back rep historians look back on this, it'll be your 4 chances to wound him. I think in the last 2 turns that was your misstep. I thought we were going to get to a draw.
Yeah.
I really thought you were going to kill him on that one.
Then,
he's done it. He's shielded it. What heroism? shielding his life away.
Because there was one where you got a 6 and I came up with the goods, but then you put that pressure on the last turn.
Absolutely.
Kept putting the pressure on.
Yeah.
I thought when I was about 7-8, Will, I was like, this is in the bag.
Yeah, I've got this.
I've got it. Then it got down to about 4.
Get off!
I was down to about 4 and I was thinking, it might be tricky. Down to 3. And when he missed that second chance, I was like, now he's up against it.
Yeah. So I think deeply unheroic of the captain, but I think he's done well for the community.
Yeah.
I think all the people lined up for 15-point back reps are going, whoo!
Yeah.
Possibly the only way to take that down at 50 points to shield against him.
Yeah.
Right,
Or to have ordered models, but we tried. I mean, the Lake Town didn't do that.
No. Couldn't charge
but
it.
yeah, we must say a huge thank you to Mr. Al Wood for providing us with the lovely Castellan
Yeah, it
models.
was a lovely gift.
And you will hopefully see more of them in some Fall of the Necromancer scenarios at some point in the future. That is a plan of some
They
sort.
did make a guest appearance on Mid-Sussex War Games.
Yes, they did.
One of them.
And we did do
We did the wizard one, didn't we? Medal in the Pharaoh
Wizards.
Yes.
So, yes.
So that's the end of our 50-point back rep.
We hope you enjoyed it if you were new.
Yeah, we do that every week on the show. But before we go, we did want to just leave you with essentially a trailer or a teaser for next week, which is about this little bad boy. So because we missed last week's episode of the Palantir, we haven't shown this on the Palantir. Is that right?
I don't think so.
I don't think we've shown the cover. I think we did this sort of thing. I think.
Or we showed the back or something. Yeah.
I don't think we've shown this off on the Palantir.
Yeah.
But this is SBG issue 3, and this is the
second test print.
Yeah, second test print, and smells like victory. It is, of course, as you've probably seen on the Great British Hobby League, it says the Hill of Sorcery, and we are going to Dol Guldur for issue 3.
And we should state now, I mean, there's been a bit of confusion as to whether these are ring wraiths or castellans, or this. It's the Necromancer. It's ring wraiths.
Indeed, we have the Necromancer up here, sculpted by Mr. Dave Fredericks, in its kind
Shadow
of
Flame.
Yep, in its kind of Desolation Smile form. We then have some ring wraiths down here and some ring wraiths across here. 6 of the 9 sculpted by Matt Davis, Generation Shift.
Yep.
He has done all 9, fear not. And then down here somewhere we have a wounded Gandalf.
Yes.
Converted to a spot for us by Steve Crow.
Yes.
And it's all photographed.
And he's of Top Table Wargaming.
Absolutely. It's all photographed across the rather beautiful terrain, which you can't really see, but believe us, it's glorious. Sorry, it's on there, guys. A bit created by Mr. Barry O'Neill.
Yes.
So those are the guys who've created it. We are recording this on Thursday night.
Yes.
We have to send this to the printers on Monday.
Monday.
So you'll be obviously watching this on Friday. We have 3 days to finish SBG issue 3.
Yes.
It's very nearly there, but we still have a fair bit of work to do on it.
Yep.
And we are delighted with how it's coming together.
Yeah. I mean, we don't need to go into it too much, but Damian went and did some work, sterling work at the printers, just playing with the export settings to make sure that when it's printed, it looks as good as possible. I don't really know, it's technical printer stuff.
It's Tom's the word guy, I'm the pretty guy.
Yes. Yes.
We're very, very pleased with it.
Yeah, and also, look on the cover, there is an unexpected thing on there, which some of you have spotted. If you haven't, go back, have a look. The picture is on the Great British Hobbit League Facebook page. If you're on your computer, you can search SBG magazine and posts will come up and you'll see it. If you are on your phone, Facebook app type thing is just very irritating and you can't search very well.
I'm sure we're going to be chatting about it as a bit of a preview about the issue next week, but it will be on sale 2 weeks tomorrow as you are watching. It will be available 2 weeks tomorrow.
Via donation.
Via donation. At the Desolation of Stockport, and there it will be exclusively available for 2 weeks.
Yes.
So if you want to be one of the first people in the country to get your hands on a copy.
Or from abroad, Andreas the Norwegian Viking's coming over, just saying.
Yes, if you live anywhere near him, or if you live in mainland Europe and you can get to him, then he's your best. He's our export expert. And it will be available at the Destination Stockport. So you need to contact Mr. Jamie Giblin, who I believe is was posting that there are only a few spaces available.
I think there's a max of 50 because of Steamforged having a certain space there.
So there's only a few spaces left. So if you are interested in coming along, we are hoping the plan is to run a huge participation game.
Yes.
Around the tournament, essentially, on the new scenario with all the ring race and with the necromancer. So you know, if you want to see these.
Oh,
what is that? Look at that!
It's Kylo Ren.
Oh, it's Kylo Ren. That is Matt Davis's custom sculpt of the Tainted. It's glorious.
Is that on the front cover?
Yeah, the Tainted's on there.
Yeah, he is. He is on the front cover. So
But there we go. If you like that and you'd like to see about, I don't know, 8 more of them, custom necromancer, some fantastic converted spiders, and a 4x4 Dol Guldur board.
a battle report that shows off all of that in its glory.
A battle report for issue 3 with 3,333 points. It's almost like we planned it. Then get yourself to Desolation Startboard, where you will be able to pick up SBG issue 3 in 2 weeks' time.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, and we're really excited.
We are indeed.
As you can tell.
Oh yes. And there we are. There is our bumper edition of the Palantir special, discussing the hot news in the world of SPG. It's
Hot news.
Hot,
We've not
hot
had
news.
This, we have the news section in this show, and it's not been this hot for a long, long time.
This is baking. This is like, you know, when you reach into the oven to get your pizza out and then you touch the edge of it and you're like, ah, that's really hot.
Yeah.
It's like that.
Yeah.
But without the burn.
Right.
So yes, be very excited. The future for our hobby is very, very bright.
Yes.
It's in very capable hands and it's going to be marvellous.
I think we had those new viewers all until that hot.
The hot bit, yeah, that's when it. And for any regular viewers, don't worry. Next week we'll be back to our familiar brand of utter nonsense.
Yes.
If this was in any way less nonsensical than normal. 9 of them. Until next time, don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe.
Support your hosts in the comments below.
Follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook.
Yeah. Support your Hobbit hobby.
And happy strategy battle gaming.